They show up, their wife is never there. It's always like some 20-year-old chick.
How am I gonna tell a story today?
Show it. She's batshit crazy. She abandoned the baby. People don't do that. Hi everyone, I hope everything is going great. I am Cherie, and today I am back with another mukbang with Rosie.
Yay.
Rosie is saying yay, but she's really terrified, and so am I, because I saw like a really old post from my college classmate eating this, and they were all crying and running to the bathroom, and I thought, let me do that to myself. They are called ramen from hell. Here we have the regular spicy one, I've heard is already really spicy, and then we have the 2 times spice, which, why am I doing this to myself? And we have the garlic flavor one. We have our water boiler right here, so we're gonna make it on camera. My mom made mala spicy stinky tofu yesterday, and she cooked up some beef, so I just stole some beef out from there so that we can add it and actually have a little bit of protein, even though this is not enough. Here we have some hard-boiled eggs. I don't want to trigger anyone because I know some people are like, oh my god, they look so dry. My family members do not eat soft-boiled eggs, and I'm the only one who likes my eggs undercooked, and these are leftovers. So let's open them. How do you fucking open these? How did you do that without your teeth?
Here's this leaf. I don't know.
I'm really not good at. Oh, wow. You're so smart. I'm doing this so close to my mic, I just realized. You guys hear it? Is that ASMR?
You could do ASMR.
I can. I like to talk too much. Oh, no, there's this thing over here.
No, you shouldn't be able.
What is that?
Pour in the hot water first, and then after 3 minutes, you pour out the water from here.
Oh, those are dry noodles. I'm so sorry. I'm very uncultured.
You're just really healthy. You don't eat ramen.
I never knew they did this.
I know this already.
Ramen. So what do I do? So I just pour these things in, and then I put in the hot water, and then we cover it. Is that it?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't read Japanese. I thought these are soup noodles. You're right. Oh my god, that is so smart.
Yeah. So like,
obviously, I'm an intellectual. They should do this with Korean ramen as well, with like nuclear noodles. Ah! I got it all over my hand.
Do we have to like pour in this first?
We don't?
I don't know.
Oh my god, we're supposed to pour it in the
dry.
end. Oh my god, I'm so stupid.
Is it?
Oh well, then let's just put less water for this one. I ruined the 2 times spicy one.
I'm kind of happy.
Yeah, I think you are right.
But it didn't say it.
Yeah, it says here, like mix at the very end.
Oh, you can read Japanese.
It's in Chinese. It says hung. Maybe we can just make that one a soup one.
Yeah, fine.
And then we can put the beef in there as well. But I feel like as a soup, it would be so much spicier. Oh, it is pretty spicy.
Oh my god. When Cherie said spicy, it's dying.
Because I had a mouthful of just sauce. Okay, we just pour the water out of these. It's so smart. Like, Japanese people invent the weirdest things, but they work. Well, not all of them. They invent some pretty weird things that I'm like, I'm not sure if it's like a culture difference, but when am I ever gonna use that? But this is so smart.
So garlic.
Really? It's so garlicky? Yeah. It smells really strong of garlic now that you're mixing it.
They have garlic in it.
Oh my god, they have whole ass garlic. Okay, show it, show it. Oh my god. I would definitely recommend these, I feel.
They're like really soft, sliced garlic. Oh, it's soaked up the water anyways.
Yeah, but now because it's soup, and I feel like when it's hot soup, it's so much spicier.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're back with the noodles that are ready, and let's dig in. I'm gonna start with the 2 times spicy one.
You sure?
And see, I'm gonna get some of the broth.
I'll try
the garlic one. It's actually really good, like this, as like a soupy one. But
is it spicy?
It's spicy.
Oh my god, the garlic one is also spicy.
Really?
Yeah, why?
You know how instant ramen, the noodles themselves have this ramen like fried taste, and it almost tastes like preservatives, but I love it. I could really taste it with those. Can you?
Yeah, this one too.
This one too?
Yeah. Oh my god, it's really spicy. But I really like the flavor. Yeah, but it's
really spicy.
Really spicy.
It's not so spicy that I'm crying, but if I'm telling you it's spicy, you probably shouldn't be getting the 2 times spice.
Yeah, I think I'm turning red. Am I?
Me too, I can feel blood coming up to my face.
My ears.
Oh shit.
Oh. Oh my god.
But it's good.
Yeah, it's good.
It's like delicious, you want more, but then at the same time you're like, I'm spitting fire.
Yeah, it's not like the Korean.
The Korean one is like, it's
a little bit sweet.
It's a little bit sweet, yeah.
Yeah, but this one is like, no, it's salty.
It's only savory and spicy.
Yeah. It's not that spicy?
A regular one is not as spicy. Oh, my ears are burning.
Oh my god. I think I'm gonna die if I try the chicken.
Oh, we forgot to get you milk.
Let's
try the garlic one.
I'll just survive this.
After these two,
it's not.
The garlic one is not spicy.
But it's spicy. Okay, people, just try this garlic one if you like garlic.
They have garlic one and I think they have miso one, but definitely don't make it into a soup one. Holy shit. It's spicy. I can't talk.
Oh my god, it's so... I think these two are the same level of spicy.
How am I gonna tell a story today? So today we're gonna be talking about my family drama.
I'm not thinking straight right now.
Should we go make some nuclear noodles? So, I have a pretty big extended family. My mother has 4 siblings, and when I say family drama, I'm saying, if you guys are Taiwanese, you already know this. If you're not, we have this very famous thing in Taiwan called the 8 p.m. dramas.
Yeah.
It's crazier than a telenovela. Family members try to kidnap and kill each other. Family members end up not being actually related. They develop amnesia, they forget who they are, they forget that they're super rich, or they forget their fiance, and suddenly they only remember their ex-girlfriend, stuff like that. Huh.
Oh my god, this is like totally different level.
It's crazy.
It's different.
Oh my god. No wonder everyone is crying. I firmly believe these TV shows are based on my family. Okay? That's how crazy shit goes down in my extended family. And in Chinese, we have this saying that says that you shouldn't air your dirty laundry. Actually, in English, they have this saying as well. But in Chinese, when we say don't air your dirty laundry, we're basically saying keep the dirty laundry at home. So no matter what shit is going down in your family, you shouldn't be telling people about it. So here I am talking about it on the internet because you guys voted for it on my Instagram stories. But also, I think if these terrible shitty people can do these terrible shitty things, they shouldn't be afraid of me saying it on camera.
Exactly.
I don't know if it's gonna cause more family drama because I know my cousin and uncle have my Facebook. I'm gonna have some of this as a break. That's how bad these are.
I'm sweating.
Yeah, me too. It's like 20 degrees out there. It's considered cold here in Taiwan, but we have the AC on and I'm sweating.
It's a fire I taste.
After these feel so mild. You're crying. I'm so sorry. Why are we bringing this up now? Because something happened. My sister got married. This happened 2 weeks ago. And right before they got married, we got texts from our uncle saying, we heard that Baobei is getting married. Why didn't we get an invitation?
Oh.
So we told them, oh no, we're just having like a small intimate gathering. We're not having a wedding ceremony and we're not having like a reception. We said it's because of COVID, right? And they said, oh, don't forget to tell us when you guys are having a feast and we should all get together and eat sometime. And we said, yeah. And the next day was the wedding and there were freaking 200 people and we had a huge dance party, a live band, everything.
It's a ceremony.
Yeah. My sister, my brother-in-law, and I are just blasting it on Instagram, okay? And after that, because we got the phone call the day before, the 3 of us, heady young people, got together and are like, let's see if they saw our Instagram stories. Yeah? We scrolled through it and my mom and dad came over. Did they see it? Did they see it? There's 60. They're supposed to be better than this. So yeah, they saw it. My uncle even liked my sister's posts, but they never texted us again.
I knew.
Yeah, this brings us to why they are not welcome and why they didn't say anything. Because, listen, if Rosie got married and she told me she's not having a reception and I see her blasting it on Instagram and I wasn't invited, you bet my ass I'm gonna be asking her what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
But if I did some shady shit, I would just like her post and be like, yeah, I know what I did. This all starts from before I was even born, from before my parents are even married. But I want to start the story from the moment I was born. I was born exactly a year after my grandfather passed away. You're looking at me with like, oh my god, I'm in so much pain.
I will not put my chopstick in this again.
Oh, really? Okay.
These two are good.
Okay, I'll take out the egg so you can at least have egg.
It's spicy also.
Okay, I'm sorry. So when I'm talking about this, it's all from my mother's side of my family. All of the babies freaking love my oldest uncle. They would be crying, cannot be calmed down, but when they see my oldest uncle, they would start laughing or they would go to sleep. But when I was born, I was a quiet baby. You can't see that now because I can't stop talking, but I was a quiet baby. But the moment that my oldest uncle would walk into the room or he would touch me, I start screaming and crying. And you know who I look like? I don't look like my mom. I don't look like my dad. I look like my grandpa. Everyone on my mother's side of the family, I am the only one with the same facial shape as my grandpa. And so I would start crying, and my uncle's wife is just the most batshit crazy out of my entire family. My uncle's wife would tell him, honey, don't touch her. She's dead. They thought I'm the reincarnation of my grandpa, so they are freaking terrified of me. Do you guys believe in reincarnation?
I think I do.
I don't know. I wouldn't go around and be like, I believe I'm the reincarnation of my grandpa. But I do believe I have a very strong connection to him because I've never met him, right? But ever since I was a kid, there was a picture of him in our living room. And I think my grandpa is so handsome. My grandpa was a military man. It's a picture of him in his military uniform. And he looks so serious, but at the same time, you could see in his eyes like, oh, he's such a gentle. Yeah, he's such a gentle person. And I also hear stories of how he is with my mom and like his children and what he does. And when I talk about him, I want to cry, but I've never met him. Oh my god, I'm crying. It's not from the noodles. I'm crying from the noodles. Always, and I have no idea why. I should theoretically be much closer to my grandma. When I talk about my grandma, yeah, I feel sad, but it's not like every time I talk about her, I cry. Also, I don't know if it's because of my grandpa or because the US Marine Corps has the best PR in the world, but I also have like this soft spot for like military stories.
Me too.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
But do you also have military in your family?
No.
We came from a military family. My grandpa on my father's side was also a military personnel, and they're both high-ranked military officers that came to Taiwan when we were having a civil war with PRC. Yeah, that is like the beginning of the story. Okay, they're freaking terrified of me. Why are they so freaking afraid of me if I am my grandpa? Yeah, they should freaking love me. Let's go back a few years before my grandpa passed away. He had a stroke. He doesn't act clear-minded. I think that's the most terrifying part because from what I can tell, it seems like he is fully conscious and his head is fully there, but he's no longer physically capable.
Oh my god, it's so sad.
And it's just really sad. And my dad is a doctor, so how do you move up in rank to say, like as a doctor, is that you have to write a lot of papers, you have to do a lot of studies, and you have to go to these conventions. Some of these conventions are not in Taiwan, so you have to travel for work. At the time, my sister was still really young, and my dad had to go to San Francisco for like a couple weeks. So my entire family decided they're all gonna go together. But what about my grandpa? Because my parents are the ones taking care of my grandpa. My grandparents were not on really good terms. They're kind of separated for a long time. My grandma is still very able-bodied, but she's also old and they're not on good terms. She's not gonna be taking care of my grandpa. Obviously, as the oldest son who lives in the literal same building in the apartment across from us, my parents said, hey, can you take care of your own father just for this time being? They said yes, but as soon as my parents got to the US, they couldn't really get in contact with my grandpa, and they don't know what's going on here. Why? So they were just worried, but they thought he's with my uncle, it's gonna be fine. And then they came back from the US, and they couldn't find my grandpa anywhere. The moment my parents got on the plane, they sent him to a home. And it's not even like a good elderly home. It's not like a rich people elderly home that costs $10. Like, no, it's just like a regular, not even like just a shitty home.
Oh my god.
And my parents immediately took him back. Like the moment they came back from the US, they're like, what the fuck, why is my father in a home? Even for my dad, his father passed away when he was really young. My grandmother on my father's side also passed away like a couple decades ago before I was born.
It's like his father also.
Yes, so he considers my mother's parents his parents. My dad appears to be a really cold person, and he seems really mean sometimes, but one thing you can 100% always count on is he is super patient and nice to old people, even when they are really fucking annoying.
It's like his destined to be doctor.
Yeah. When my grandfather passed away, it is Taiwanese tradition that when you pass away, people are going to give you white envelopes with money in it, and it's supposed to help you with the funeral.
Yeah.
So basically, my aunt's husband and my dad paid for the funeral, and my oldest uncle took all of the white envelopes. He said because he's the eldest son. But you know what else the eldest son is also supposed to do in Taiwan? Pay for the fucking funeral.
Yeah, and he should take care.
Yeah, and take care of your parents. Yeah.
Of the parents, yeah.
Yeah. Before my grandparents even passed away, my oldest uncle's wife loved to say this thing. In Chinese, we say 长兄如父,长嫂如母. It means your oldest brother is like your father, and your oldest sister-in-law is like your mother. But that is what you say after your parents pass away.
Yeah.
And it's not just that you should respect them as if they're your parents, but they should also take care of you like they're your parents.
Yeah.
Because now they are the oldest. And they loved saying that even when both of my grandparents were perfectly healthy and alive, and they asked everyone to respect them like they're your freaking parents.
It's so weird.
And when my uncle and her first got married, like everyone was against it. But he was so into her that my grandfather is like, well, I would rather he marry someone that we don't like than lose my son. Because if they just keep saying no, he was just gonna run away with her. So we're just gonna accept her into our home. And they moved into the family home, took over the master's bedroom. My aunt knows that, okay, this woman is batshit crazy, so I have to be nice to my sister-in-law, right? My aunt is, we always joke that she's dumb, but she's not really, we say in Chinese, like you're missing a nerve. It means that it's kind of like,
you will forget something or like.
Yeah, like you forget things easily, or sometimes you have a lot of gaffes. You would accidentally say things that offend people, but you don't really mean it, and she's actually super kind. She's really just a nice person, but she is missing a nerve. Okay, is how we like to say it. One day when she was talking to my uncle's wife, she makes a comment. Basically, she's saying that there's a smell. She just kind of expressed that there's a smell in a very innocent way. My uncle's wife fucking stinks. And she went livid. When my uncle came home, she was crying and she said, your sister said that I stink and she wants to kick me out. My aunt is like, I'm sorry, that's not what I meant. And she said that my aunt has to kneel down on the ground.
What the fuck?
Say sorry and write an entire apology letter while kneeling on the floor and give it to her, or she would not forgive my aunt.
Okay, so don't. Oh my god, it's so crazy.
So she knelt on the ground and wrote an apology letter. And it's not called an apology letter in Chinese, you know? In Chinese, we call it 悔过书.
Yeah.
It means
I regret what I did.
A letter where you express how much you regret what you did.
Yeah.
And this is something you only write when you get into huge trouble at school.
Yeah.
And you have to submit it to the teacher and say like how terribly sorry you are and how you're never gonna do it again.
Yeah. Oh my god. I don't know people do that like to family members.
People don't do that to family members. Only her. She's batshit crazy.
We don't do it like to the same generation of your family.
Yeah, especially not to the same generation.
Yeah, like if your parents to a like really young children.
Child, maybe. I could imagine parents telling their kid, okay, write down why what you did was wrong. Like, why did I punish you?
Like, we don't kneel down and
but we don't kneel on the floor while we write that. So in Chinese culture, you only kneel on the floor to your knees to someone that is above your generation.
Yeah.
I know in other cultures, like for example in Korea, I know even like the same generation, if they're a little bit older than you, they have like this really strong thing where it has to be like, oh, oni, and then you can't call them by their names.
Yeah.
But
if they're older only like 3 days, they're still my sister.
But
sister.
In Chinese culture, no. If you're the same generation, no. My oldest cousins are 20 years older than me.
Yeah, we're still like the same.
Yeah, we're still the same. My cousin once was trying to give me a joint, but he didn't want my parents to know. He's freaking 40, this man hides a joint in my shoe. I hope my mom doesn't watch this video. I don't do that anymore, guys, by the way. I don't drink. I don't smoke.
It's like totally disrespectful.
Yeah, so it's completely disrespectful. And because this is one of like the most legendary stories in the family. And every time we talk about it, I would tell my aunt,
why?
Like, are you crazy? Like, why are you being so nice? I would never do it. I would tell her, then don't forgive me. Fucking move out of this house.
Yeah.
And she said, oh, I don't know, I just wasn't thinking. Now that I think about it, I shouldn't have done it. Like, I shouldn't do it. I just don't want my brother to have a difficult life. And then I'm like, no, yeah, you would still do it now.
And the oldest uncle wouldn't have a terrible life if she didn't do it.
I feel like my oldest uncle would just be miserable no matter what.
Yeah.
And my oldest uncle used to not be just such a ridiculous person. But I think because he needed to survive at home, he became more and more ridiculous over the years. Yeah, bad influence, guys. It's really important who you marry, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's not just really important who you marry, it's more important to like not marry batshit crazy people. It's fine, even if you marry like the wrong person and you guys get divorced, it's not as bad as staying together with a batshit crazy person.
And have children.
Yeah, and have children with them. Do you know how many toxic couples turn into serial killer couples? That's a topic for another time. But that's the thing. They're cannibal couples, serial killer couples, couples that just rape people together, the Ken and Barbie of Canada.
Did you have these? Like, it's really soft and
Okay, I'm gonna have some garlic. Here. They have dead ass garlic in instant ramen. This is crazy. Oh.
This should be like 2 episodes. It's good, right?
It's like the fried garlic chips from when you eat teppanyaki steak.
Yeah.
I'm working really hard on this one because I know you can't eat any more of this.
Yes.
This family drama mainly comes from them.
Yeah.
My grandma, we're in her apartment right now, actually. When she was younger, she was very classic, traditional Chinese, son is better than daughter type. She would always be much nicer to my uncles than to my mom and aunt, even though my mom and aunt, especially my mom, is her primary caregiver. I was like a little bit terrible to my grandma when I was a kid because I saw her doing this and I felt like it's so unfair. But when she started being unable to take care of herself that well, that is when she realized, oh my god, only my daughters are taking care of me. I know we're supposed to be talking about family drama, but this one part that I really want to bring up, which is such like a warm part of the story, when I think about this, it always makes me want to cry. Remember how I said that my dad basically thought of my grandparents from my mother's side as his parents, especially my grandma because she lived for so long, right? So they've been together for decades. When my grandmother was younger, she was sometimes pretty rude to my dad. One time that I remember very well, and I wrote it down in my diary, and I was only in elementary school, is that my aunt came back from Hong Kong that day and decided we're all going to go out for dinner. And my dad came home late, so he had no idea. He saw my grandma was watching TV and she hasn't eaten yet. He told her like, oh mom, do you want me to like buy you food? What do you want to have for dinner? And my grandma said, we're going out for dinner. Don't you know? You just don't want to let me go. My dad was so upset that my dad didn't have dinner that night. She's a very fiery, all of the women in our family have very fiery personalities, okay? We get mad at just stuff. So I'm not blaming my grandma at all for that. A little bit, like that's a little bit unreasonable, but I'm not saying it to badmouth her. I'm just saying it to demonstrate like the change in their relationship. When my grandmother was older, she realized that my father is the only one who takes care of her. My grandmother got Alzheimer's and the only name she remembers, the only person she remembers was my dad.
Oh my god.
She has 5 children and the only one she remembered was my dad. She would still remember my mom's name, but she would sometimes call me and my sister by my mom's name. She 100% thought of my dad as her son. I would always ask her like, hey, do you remember who am I? Who is and then I would ask her about my dog and I was like, who is this? And then she would always say, little dog, big dog. We have 2 dogs. Yeah. And I was like, do you remember his name? And he was like, little dog, little dog. And I was like, no, his name is Chris. My dad would be coming down the stairs and my grandmother would say my dad's name.
Like immediately, right?
Like immediately. My dad's name is and then I would say, okay, so who is my grandmother would say, is your older brother.
Oh my god, so sweet.
Like I said, she was super healthy. How did she get to the point where she did not even recognize her own family members. Yes, it's Alzheimer's, but a lot of it is literally trauma caused by my uncle's wife. My youngest uncle is my grandmother's favorite son. He is genuinely really unkind person. He finally moved back to Taiwan towards the end of his years to an apartment that's actually pretty close, but my uncle is not the healthiest person. He had high blood pressure, he had diabetes, and he had a heart attack, and he passed away.
Also, this is the youngest uncle.
This is the youngest uncle. But my grandmother doesn't know. My grandmother at the time couldn't walk very well. She had to have a cane or sometimes a wheelchair because she fell and broke her hip. Her mind is completely 100% there. She's lucid. She sometimes even get mad at us. When your family members are old enough, you kind of are happy when they yell at you or get mad because they are clear-minded enough to get mad at you. Her physical health is not perfect, so we're like, we don't want her to know this. It's going to mentally take a toll on her, and it could affect her physical health. The entire family knows we're keeping the secret from her. My oldest uncle's wife goes to my youngest uncle's wife and says, give me $1 million NT dollars.
So I wouldn't tell mom.
Or I'm gonna tell mom.
Oh my god.
That her favorite son died.
What is this?
They're not well off at the time. And like the richest sibling out of the 5, my oldest uncle. He's getting retirement and he's still working. He's not even really working. They just give him like a high position job. He's just getting paid. And she goes and freaking blackmails the one that was in the most financial difficulty at the time. And her husband just died.
So horrible.
Even though there's other family drama, our entire family really don't like the youngest uncle's wife that much because she is the second wife. She was my uncle's secretary and she kind of got my uncle drunk and got herself pregnant, so my uncle divorced his first wife. I told you, this is a freaking 8 p.m. drama. But she was really trying to be a nice person to us. We don't know her that well. We don't know if she's like genuinely a good person or whatever, but she's much more respectful than my oldest uncle's wife. She goes and freaking blackmails this widow in financial difficulty. She got $1 million NT. My oldest uncle's wife and her son, which is my oldest cousin, went and collected the $1 million, and then she went ahead and told her anyway.
Oh my god, what the...
And at first we didn't know. We just noticed that my grandma started acting really sad and really angry towards us because she's probably thinking like, how could you not tell me that my son died? One day we saw like on the counter a picture of my youngest uncle and she started to refuse to eat and she doesn't talk. After that, she just completely just went straight downhill from there. She refused to eat to the point where we had to cook all of her food for like long periods of time, then blend it with a Vitamix and make her drink it for years towards her end because of this.
It's horrible. Like, how would a human do that?
Yeah.
And she got the money.
She got the money and she went ahead and told anyway. Which, first of all, why are you blackmailing your sister-in-law in the first place?
Yeah. It's crime, right?
Yeah.
It's drama. Like it's totally
drama. It's crazy. It's completely crazy. Now that it cooled down, it doesn't feel as spicy.
Yeah, I know, but still.
I feel like we can turn off these. I'm so cold.
Yeah. It's so quiet.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
You know, winter is coming, so you guys are gonna have some better audio for my mukbangs. A non-interfered slurp. Can you guys hear it much better? Is it ASMR? My oldest uncle has 2 children, a boy and a girl. My oldest cousin, their son, is really just just like his parents. It's probably a little bit evil to say this, but what brings me joy is knowing that their children treat them exactly the same way as they treated their parents, and I can't wait for them to get old. Yeah. Yay. It's karma, bitches.
Yeah.
Are we out of space? Let's pause it first.
What does it say on the screen? I don't know.
We're back because we had some technical issues, but we were saying my oldest cousin, which is their son, moved in one day. Don't know why they moved out, but then they moved back in. Him, his wife, and his 2 children are living here together with my uncle, and they would sometimes stage arguments over money in front of my uncle's wife. So my uncle's wife would be like, okay, stop fighting, I'll give you money so that you guys can stop fighting over money. But they don't have any monetary issues. I'm just really happy that they're doing the same thing to them, what they did to my grandparents, and they fucking deserve it. And I hope they get sent into a terrible, shitty home too when they're old, just like they did my grandpa. That's a little bit evil to say, but karma, bitch.
I think every family has weird
relatives.
The batshit crazy relatives of mine is my dad's older sister, and she's like 12 years older than my dad. She also would say that she is basically like my dad's mother. Just like your
just like my uncle's wife.
Yeah. She would say that when they're younger, my grandpa and grandma is always working. She would have to like take care of my dad. But they have a nanny. Like my grandma paid for a nanny for my dad. So it's not like she's the only caretaker. It's not.
Probably not even the caretaker, because if there's a nanny there, she would just take care of both kids.
Yeah, and my aunt, she has to go to school anyways. You know? And what do a 12-year-old knows about taking care of? I don't know, but...
I mean, like in some families, yeah, I believe that there's a child that is forced to be parentified. But it doesn't sound like it.
But my dad has a nanny.
Yeah, this doesn't sound like the situation.
Yeah, the really crazy thing is when my grandpa, he's not in really good health, and then like the first time he went into ICU 5 or 6 years ago, my aunt just went to the ICU to his bed and told him to leave with God, to let go of his life.
Is she Christian, or
no,
is she?
She's not. Like,
are you guys like religious in any way?
No.
So what God? What God? Tell me what God. Who am I going with?
My grandpa is not in really bad shape. It's not. He lived until now.
Yeah.
5 or 6 years ago, she told him to leave and told my mom that the money that my grandpa leave behind should be split into two.
Should be split half and half.
Yeah.
She's still alive, and then she's thinking about inheritance. It's just like my uncle. Yeah. Seriously.
And my aunt married into a really rich family. And they don't have anything to worry about. So I don't know why she's thinking about the money so much, because my grandpa's inheritance is not as much as what she has already.
And also, your grandmother is still alive.
Yeah.
Your grandma is supposed to get
half,
50%.
Yeah.
Like by law.
Yeah.
I don't understand, because my uncle is like this as well. When my grandmother was still alive, that's actually one of the huge things that they're fighting over right now, which is the house that my uncle lives in is actually my grandmother's property. She gave it to them, let them live there, but he doesn't own the land, so he doesn't really fully own the house. My grandmother owns it, and he wants to take that land and then split the rest of the inheritance into 5.
What?
And that house is worth more than 1/5 of the inheritance. Of course, my mom and my aunt are like, no. And my second uncle keeps saying like, oh, we're all family. Why are we fighting over this? Like, we should just let him have what he has. And my parents are like, you know what? The house he's taking worths about 1/5 of the inheritance. We can give it to him, and you get no inheritance, and the rest of us split it. How would you feel about it? And then she said, well, how would you feel if we told you the same thing? And then they're like, we are not okay with it. That's why we are not okay with him getting 2 shares of inheritance. Like, and when he never even took care of our parents. When my grandmother was older, even before she had Alzheimer's and stuff, it was like always my mom taking care of her, right? But I got older, my mom was like, okay, I'm just spent my whole life just taking care of my children, taking care of my parents. I want to be able to go out sometimes. My family would decide, okay, on weekends, the 4 of us would like go out and eat or go somewhere. We are still gonna take care of my grandmother full time from Monday to Friday. And we asked my uncle like, hey, can you take care of mom on Saturdays and Sundays? And my grandmother had a caretaker. We're like, you don't really have to do anything. You just have to buy food for them. And my uncle told my mom to give him money for the food, for his own mother's food. And my mom and my aunt are the only ones paying for the caretaker.
It's just like my aunt.
You know what? I'm actually starting to feel like this is not spicy enough, and I want to drizzle a little bit of this over it. Would you die?
I'm full anyway.
No! I ate all of this alone. At least eat the egg. I put 4 eggs in here. We each have 2.
I had 2.
Not 2 halves, 2 full eggs.
Yeah.
I don't understand. It's always about money, isn't it?
It's always about money. My aunt also wanted the house that my grandpa and grandma is currently living in.
I thought she said to split it in half.
She said, if you don't want to sell the house after they passed away, then I will draw a line in between. You could only step on that side and I would step on this side. And I was like,
what is wrong?
Aren't you guys' parents all like alive now? And like the second time my grandpa went into ICU like last year, she went into their house and threw all of my grandpa's clothing, even bed sheets.
But your grandma is still alive now.
Yeah.
Even after my grandmother passed away, we did not throw out all of her stuff.
Yeah. Because she's preparing to sell the house, but my grandma is still living very fine.
So they know that your aunt did this.
Yeah.
And did they say anything? Do anything?
Like they wouldn't say anything to me because they still think I'm really young. I don't know if they say anything to my father and mother, but if it were me, I would be really heartbroken. Yeah. Because
I would write them out of my will.
Yeah, but I don't think my grandpa and grandma would do that. And
but in Taiwan, you can't even do that. You can't even write people out of your will. Like if you do it, they can just go to court. They're legally allowed to have part of it.
Yeah.
Which I think is so messed up. Why can't I decide who gets my stuff?
Yeah. My grandpa and grandma's apartment is also in my grandma's name.
If it's in your grandma's name, then even if your grandfather passes away, it's not inheritance.
Yeah. That's why my aunt told my grandma so many times, where is the document for the house?
Oh, shit.
I don't know why, like they need the money.
They don't need the money.
Yeah, because they're so rich. They have 2 children.
And they're both not working.
Yeah, and they're like 30-something. And my aunt's husband said that they don't have to work because we have enough money for them to live.
For the rest of their lives.
And
I wish I had that kind of money.
Even their children can live without working.
Wow, I wish I had that kind of money.
Yeah, me too. Like, oh my god. Oh, and
every time someone asks me, what's your dream job? I'm like, my dream is to not need to have a job.
That's dream life. They're not living in Taipei, so they're not the caretaker of my grandparents. It's my mom, because my dad's at work. They would be like, oh, I'm not able to go to Taipei, but they have like apartments in Taipei.
Apartments. To have apartments in Taipei means a lot. If you're not from Taiwan, let me tell you.
And like they're not buying apartments from a long time ago. They kept buying it throughout the years. So they're like really batshit rich.
Batshit rich. Crazy rich Asians.
Crazy rich. They don't live in Taipei.
So they're just renting out their apartments in Taipei?
Just let them be.
Just let them be?
Yeah. And because
they don't even need to make rent off it.
Yeah.
So they're not even paying mortgage for it. No. They just they already full on own it.
Yeah. They have these empty apartments or like buildings because they think they have guests or their family would want to come to Taipei and they want these spare rooms, spare apartments, spare buildings for them to live. And then they also have a building and apartment in Hsinchu.
I'm waiting for you to own a building and take care of me for the rest of my life.
I'm still waiting on you.
We're just both waiting for each other to get rich and no one ever. We just die together in the corner of the street.
When I'm in middle school, their children are all in college. And then they asked me if I want to be their child.
But they have their own children.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I thought this only happened like 50 years ago.
Yeah, and then they didn't ask my parents. They asked me.
That's so manipulative.
Yeah, and I was only like 13 or 14 at that time. They told me that they are much richer than my parents and my grandparents, that they can give me a better environment to study.
But they didn't even want to pay for education.
Yeah. And after my parents paid for my education and other stuff like cram school or like pianos, flutes, and they said, do you want to be my daughter? Oh my god. I was like, no thank you.
I'm 13 but I'm not dumb.
And by that time they asked me, do you want to come live with us and be our daughter? You would have this apartment to yourself, and the middle school you could go to is just across the street, so you don't have to like wake up early.
It's right across from our school?
No, it's they wanted me to transfer. Yeah. to another city. I was already 14, so I know my parents are my parents.
Yeah.
So how can I just be
your daughter
child?
now? They have their own children.
Yeah.
It's not even that they don't have children and they really want a child. In that case, maybe I could understand. It's still really creepy, but
they don't think their children could make good use of their money, but they still would give all their money to them. So I don't know what would become of me if I really become their daughter.
Yeah.
Like I would still
it would be
the
like
outsider.
the Korean drama. It's like, what are those Korean dramas? They have a lot of these. They have like an adoptive child that's the smartest and most capable.
Abused.
Yeah, and then they're always abused, and then they're not getting any of the inheritance, but then in the end they're the only ones that can run the company, and then they have like a huge revenge and they take all the money. So your family is like Korean drama. Mine is like local Taiwanese 8 p.m. drama, just raging.
They didn't tell my parents, so when I tell my parent about this, my parents was like, what? The fuck?
Why are you trying to steal my daughter?
Yeah. Well, crazy people.
Because my youngest uncle passed away, after my grandmother passes away, the inheritance will go to his children. Like his share of the inheritance will go to his children, and the 5 children would then split it. My uncles are trying to exclude his children from the inheritance.
Why?
They're trying to steal money from their nephews.
Yeah, why?
Niece and nephews. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Why are you fighting with kids? They are like a whole ass generation beneath you. Calm the fuck down. You're already rich. Yeah. This is yours. The rest. The egg and some noodles. I'm so full. I can't anymore. I basically had 2 out of these 3 boxes.
I don't know why these rich people want money.
Yeah, I don't understand. The majority of crazy rich people that we know are not as happy.
Yeah.
They're not happy, or they have terrible marriages. They're all cheating. Like, actually, I was talking about this with Aries the other day because Aries sent me like a tweet and it was of someone divorcing some rich guy. So I forgot who was getting a divorce, and they're saying, if Bill Gates can't stay married, how do you expect me to keep a woman happy? And Aries is saying like, oh, see, women are never satisfied. They always want everything. And I said, well, like, I don't think it's about the money.
Yeah.
My father's classmates, a lot of them went into business and they're all millionaires. Out of all of them, I think my dad is one of the best husbands. Like, my mom be batshit crazy a lot of times, and my dad just takes it.
My dad's like classmates, they're all doctors, like college classmates. The richer
have the younger wives.
Not wife, girlfriends.
Girlfriends! And then they have wives.
They have wives.
Exactly.
And children. Yeah.
With the girlfriend?
I don't know. Like, they have a lot of children.
A lot of children, and then they're always really young and from different women.
Yeah, I think so. The rich are worse.
I mean, they are still really good people to us, especially as like friends and as a daughter of a friend. They're all really nice. They're fun. But it's just, I don't want to be married to that.
Yeah, I don't want to meet any of that kind of guys.
I'm fine with being friends with them.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not marrying no millionaire that's gonna replace me in 10 years.
Yes.
Melon babies.
Tell that joke. It's not a joke.
It's not a joke. It's a fact.
Tell that fact.
Okay. It's gonna sound really crazy coming out of my mouth, so I'm gonna try my best to remember linking the video where I learned this from. And that video has a lot more very, very informative and well medically researched information, but this is my favorite because it sounds like such a party joke. Did you know smelling babies make you fat? I sound so crazy. I sound like I'm trying to get everyone to not have kids. It doesn't exactly go like this, okay? I'm just gonna give you the short version, but then you guys, if you're interested, go ahead and watch that video and get all of the scientific facts. But basically, the smell of babies affect how your body produces hormones, and in order to prepare you for several sleepless nights taking care of babies, your body decides we gotta build more fat so that we're gonna stay alive. Also, they lower your testosterone. A lot of fat loss and muscle building comes with testosterone, and they lower your testosterone because with testosterone comes sex drive. And they're like, you already have this baby, you don't need to be having sex. And so that's why you get fat, from smelling babies. Keep your babies away from me. I don't wanna smell them.
Every time I see a baby on the street, I would be like, just go away. I'll go.
That's what I already do anyway because I'm so afraid that they're gonna start crying. When I was a kid, right, and my cousin had babies, I really wanted to hold them because I wanted to feel like an adult. Now, if someone asks me to hold their baby, keep your baby away from me, lady. I'm really afraid. I'm not just afraid of them making a scene or whatever, but babies are so fucking fragile. I don't know why. I don't want to accidentally kill your baby, okay? This is for your own good and your baby's good and my good. Just take your baby away from me.
I have 2 younger cousins. They're like 12 years younger than me. One time we all went to Costco. One of my cousins is like sitting in a cart. He started crying and I just left the cart there. and no one else was around. I was like,
you abandoned the baby!
I just pushed the cart to the side and
then you left him there?
I left him there crying. And I went to my mom and said, he's crying. I don't know what to do, so I just leave him there.
She abandoned the baby.
But like no one blamed me, but they like joked about it for several years.
That's so good.
They joked
Does
about
your
it for
cousin
several
know
years.
you tried to abandon him?
I don't know. They live in Australia now. I hope they don't cry anymore.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Or I will abandon them again.
The other day, my mom ran into my cousin, and my cousin suddenly wants to talk to my mom. My cousin said, the other day, I had a dream about grandma. I think we should go visit her because I'm scared. My mom told us this story, and our conclusion is only bad people get scared when they dream of their dead relatives.
Yeah.
Because I have dreamed of my grandma, I was not scared.
Yeah, of course. Who would be scared?
Yeah, who would be scared?
Like you're not like seeing your grandma when you're awake.
Yeah, if I like turn around and suddenly see my grandma, I would be terrified. Yeah. But then also I would be like, well, if I think about it, she's my grandma. She probably wouldn't do anything to me. It's just...
And she lives here.
Yeah, and then this was her apartment. But really, don't be scaring me like that, please. You know I have a weak heart. In the beginning, I was like, okay, I'm really scared to be alone here. But it's not really because this is my grandmother's apartment or she passed away here or anything. I just don't really like to be alone in an apartment because I'm a coward. And also, my biggest fear is, what if there's a bug? And what if there's a cockroach? And every time, you know, actually when you arrive and then I would be putting up the backdrop and stuff, and then I would just be talking to my grandma because I would just imagine that if she were alive, she would be like, why are you moving? Like all of my stuff is so noisy, like moving the furniture, and then she would probably come out every few seconds and say, are you guys done filming? I don't know if they believe in ghosts or whatever, but then I just came in and was like, we're just filming, we're gonna be really noisy, but then you know, you always liked it when we were noisy. You said that it feels more lively, so just, you know, handle it. Do you believe in like dreaming of your dead relatives and then it's actually them?
I think it's like they're trying to talk to you. Like about something, they miss you or something.
Or how they are doing it. I did not believe it before. And when my grandmother first passed away, I never really dreamt of her or anything. But after my dog passed away, after Bob passed away, I full on fucking believed it. Because the day when Bob passed away, when he passed away, I was at Aries' place and I was originally like fully awake, I was fine. And then suddenly I got so sleepy and I fell asleep and I dreamt of my dog. And when I woke up, I checked my phone. The moment I fell asleep, like just minutes after I fell asleep, my parents texted me telling me that my dog died. A few days later, I had a dream of my dog again. And in my dream, I know my dog passed away. I saw him like walk in and I was like, oh my God, Bob. And I was, like you're back. Right? And then I was playing with him and our other dog. We were playing in the living room. After I woke up, I told my parents that I had this dream. And then they were like, today is the 7th day that Bob passed away. So in Taiwanese culture, we believe that on the 7th day that someone passes away, they would come home. I did not believe in it before, but then after that, I fully fucking believed it. There was a period of time after that, I was just having non-stop nightmares. I don't know if it's like a paranormal experience. Some person that I know that has psychic abilities says like, hey, like, I think something is bothering you. And then I'm like, what? What do you mean? She's like, yeah, you should, you know, drink more water, go out in the sun, and then if you have religion, go to church or go to like a big temple, whatever, and I was like, what? And then during that time, I do be having nightmares, okay? And in my nightmare, it's almost like in my nightmare, there's this ghost-like, monster-like thing, and then it would always take on the form of someone really close to me, and then, but when I approach them, I realize it's not them, and I would try to scream, but then there would be no sound, and this figure in my dream would taunt me and said, yeah, go ahead, scream, you can't scream. And several times in those dreams, my dog showed up and fucking bit it and chased it away, and I woke up. I don't know if it's like just a bad dream or I was really fucking being haunted or whatever, but I believe that it was my dog protecting me from nightmares. After that, I just fully believed in spirits and stuff. Like, I don't believe that they're just all around me, because I don't want to believe that. That's gonna creep me the hell out. But I believe in like spirits of people that you're close to. And after that, I also dreamt of my grandma once. Scientifically, you could say that it's because that I came into contact with something of my grandma, so I was thinking about her, and that's why I had this dream. But it wasn't even like her apartment was right here, so I'm kind of like reminded of her all the time. That day I was taking a picture wearing like a traditional Chinese qipao. And we're having some like spooktober stories here at the end. So I was like wearing a Chinese qipao, and I wanted to take a picture, so I wanted to get like a Chinese style fan. And my grandma has a lot of these fans, because when she was younger, she was always wearing this qipao, and then she had like a pretty good figure, and then she's always just wearing like this. She's always dressed up with makeup, and she cares about her appearance so much. I borrowed one of her fans. That night, I had a dream about her. And we were like in this house, and she was wearing like a full-on qipao. But I remember she was like looking for something. She was looking for a box, and then she kept asking me to look for the box for her. She just kept saying like, I have this box of stuff, and it's supposed to be under my bed, but I can't find it. Throughout the whole dream, she's just making me help her look for this box. And at the end of the dream, we did find like a bamboo woven box, and then I woke up. And then I'm like, is this really my grandma? She just came to me to make me look for a box for her.
Maybe that box did exist. Did you look under her bed?
I did not look under her bed.
Yeah, okay, maybe you should. Maybe there's this like bamboo box. Do you want to look?
When she was like a little bit older, she would always, I think a lot of grandmas do this, she would always give me cash. And then she would say like, okay, don't tell your mom, don't tell your mom. Because my mom would tell her not to give it to us, and she would give it back. And then my grandma would say like, I want to give you guys as much money now as possible, because I don't want you guys to share this with like your uncles.
Grandma did the same. Like, she has all these jewelry, and then my aunt was like, where did you hide them? We should split it now. My grandma is like perfectly fine. And then my grandma would be like, no, like she kept them for me.
She's so crazy. She's not letting any tiny thing go. Yeah, I'm so full. The 2 times spicy, if you are not great at eating spicy food, definitely do not attempt it, because I was okay with it, but in the beginning I was really sweating, and it's hard for me to speak, and my nose was watering, but still I think it was good. Definitely try the regular, and the garlic one is very, very fragrant. What I would want to do is that I would want to get 1 garlic and 1 regular and mix it together.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that would be like the best. So that is my recommendation. I'm gonna link them down below if you guys would like to try them. And don't forget to like and subscribe. 1 like is 1 less crazy relative. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.